They may not be the prettiest thing, but it is hands down the best Curry model that I've ever played in, and I have played in them all. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look, breakdown, as well as the performance review on these bad boys right here. This is the Curry Series 7. It's a brand new silhouette. I believe he debuted these in the playoffs this past season. Will he wear these to begin the season? I'm not sure. He did wear them at the Curry camp, and after wearing them myself, I could see why. These are hardcore bad boys. This is quite interesting. When we got the Curry 10s and was it the 10s? Which one was the one? I think it was the 11 actually, the one with the dual density setup. Like once that started, I was just like, oh, they're implementing cushion back into the line again, because we really hadn't had cushion since probably the original one, the Curry one, where they had the charged cushion. And even then, that cushion was minimal. And yes, I know that they use charge in multiple different models, not just the Curry one. It's just that it felt best in the Curry one. But anyways, this is kind of a departure from the rest of the line. I thought that the Curry 12 was the most comfortable Curry to date, but these blow them out of the water in terms of comfort. It's kind of weird. It's not expected. It's definitely, again, something that's different, and I like it. Now, before we deep dive into these bad boys, I just wanted to remind you guys that inventory is very low on our latest Sense Apparel launch. So if you have not grabbed one of the tees that are currently available now over at senseapparel.com, I would suggest doing so now. There's like 2 of every size left, and that's about it.
Shut up and take my money.
And on top of all of that, our latest collaboration launch with Series Player Only is also available now, exclusively over at seriesplayeronly.com, unless you're buying from overseas. And if that's the case, you're going to want to grab them from Kickzone. That's where all the international shipping is going to be taking place. Recently, I just played with a friend of mine who walked into the gym with the testing in progress tee. Like, I was like shocked, and I was like, dude, thank you. That is so awesome. So yeah, if you wanted to support anything that we've got going on right now, those are the 2 spots to do it. And with that being said, Ed Wallace, the guy that did the last 2 Curry models, the 11 and 12, he's the one that designed these guys. He's no longer with the Curry brand. This is the last shoe that he designed, and now he's over at Hoka. And Rick Medeiros, he actually did the coloring with this. He was part of the team with Ed. Both of them we actually had on our podcast, and we talked to them about, I think it was the Curry 11. They broke it all down and everything like that. It was really cool. It was a fun talk. So if you haven't checked it out, maybe go check it out and you might like it. Both of those good people though are no longer with the brand. So this is, you know, going to be like their last project together.
Their swan song,
I suppose. Their farewell. Their Titanic. Although you don't want it to sink.
their toodaloo.
They're just not here. Okay, that's just what it is. Don't let me keep going. It's going to get darker and darker. As far as the shoe itself goes, the traction is flow. Actually, I'm going to backpedal real quick. Just because some people do like comparisons, like, oh, these kind of feel like this or whatever, you know what I mean? So like, if I were to compare this to something, the overall feel, I'm not talking about the cushion or anything like that. I'm talking about the way that the shoe moves with your foot. The closest thing that these remind me of, and you're not going to believe this, but it's true, is the Air Jordan 28.
Shut the front door.
And I guess you could say the 29 and the 30, because they were all fairly similar systems. Now, with that out of the way, I'll explain why. The outsole right here is technically decoupled. It's not one full piece of outsole. And on top of that, this is a different flow setup than what we've received so far. So instead of it being a full-on one-piece flow midsole or a dual density flow midsole where there's 2 separate flow components, one of which being a softer density than the other, just to give you a little bit of extra cushion. None of that is featured here. This is a different system altogether. It's really interesting. It worked really well. And again, it felt a lot like the Air Jordan 28 in its overall like mobility and stuff like that. So again, we've got a flow outsole. It's decoupled, meaning that it's not connected. So it's not one full piece, which allows for a greater range of motion as far as like your forefoot and your heel being together, but separate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly how to explain that because there is a bridge between the gap, which would be the shank plate. And that thing works really, really well. It makes it so that you can't over twist the shoe and things like that so that like you get an injury or whatever, but it still allows the forefoot to be the forefoot and do what it needs to do while still retaining rigidness and essentially support from the midfoot back. And so that's kind of like how it feels. As far as the flow is concerned, it's just as grippy as ever. Like this, I swear, because I've been playing in the Kobe 3, Protro, the Shays, I've been playing in the Jaw 3s, Dawn Issue 7s. There's too much stuff, man. There's too much But I've been playing all of these things, and as soon as I put these on, I'm like tripping over my own feet because they're so grippy. It's ridiculous. Now moving on up, again, we got a different midsole setup here, so the flow is not connected to more flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is something completely different. It was interesting because after I first played in them, I put up a little thing on Instagram or whatever. I didn't say anything. I might have just said like the best curry by far. And basically I'd gotten hit up by Rick. He just wanted to talk to me about like the shoes and stuff like that. And so me and him were talking, and I was telling him how they feel like a running shoe, but made for basketball. Like, they feel really fluid, they feel bouncy and kind of springy, but without losing or sacrificing any court feel or stability or any of the stuff that you really want out of a basketball shoe, especially if you're looking at Curry models. And it wasn't until after I was done talking to Rick that I got like you know how your phone listens to you? I hate that, first off. Second off, it was a thing being like, oh yeah, here's the press release for the shoe. Apparently Under Armour had just unveiled it, and so one of the things was that Curry wanted a shoe to feel like a super shoe, aka one of those super runners, but built for basketball. He wanted something with cushion finally, which is crazy because like he's been riding real low for the longest time now. The miles must be adding up. So what we've got here is what Under Armour and the Curry brand specifically just states as a supercritical foam. What that means exactly, I'm not sure because they haven't, you know, divulged that information. It is different looking and different feeling than other supercriticals that I've used, where typically it kind of looks like a styrofoam but like blown up, you know what I mean? Like if we're talking about like Skechers supercritical or Brand Black supercritical, this looks like EVA. It almost feels like EVA, but it feels very similar to the Zoom X, but not as bouncy, that's on the Vomero and the Vomero Plus. Those are super bouncy, so this is like much more muted than that, but just as comfortable, and for basketball. And I know that I'm throwing out a lot of comparisons, I'm sorry, it's just that this is new for me with this Curry brand, so like it's really weird. When I was running around them, I was like, why are these so comfortable? This is crazy. I never thought that I would get, like I was already surprised with the Curry 12s, with them being comfortable, but this was like a different type of comfort. I was like, man, these joints is just perfect. So yeah, if you're looking for that kind of like ultimate balance between cushion, impact protection, as well as court feel, this is probably one of those shoes that you're going to want to put on your list. I would definitely suggest trying them on just to make sure that they fit and make sure that they feel the way that you want them to. But outside of that, I thought that they were fantastic. The way that the midsole is sculpted is perfect, by the way. This lateral piece right here with the outrigger really cups and cages your forefoot, so it doesn't matter like really like how hard you're stopping or how much force you're applying, it's going to keep you on that footbed because it's cradling you. And even though the heel looks really thick, you're actually sitting like right about here, and so it's only about that much, you know what I mean? So you're getting half of this width or thickness covering your foot again. So the heel is cupping you, the forefoot's cupping you. There's no way that you're gonna be sliding off of the footbed on these guys.
Excellent.
Now the upper on these, you could definitely tell is where they save some cost. This is as textile gets, you know what I mean? It's very breathable, and I will say it's super comfortable. Does it look good though? I mean, feel free to let me know. I don't love the metallic hot melt fuse stuff that's on there. I think that looks a little cheesy, but it does look a little bit like runners, and that's very popular and trending right now, so what the f do I know? I'm just an old guy. All I know is that the upper did its job. It kept me contained, it kept me locked in. There was damn near no break-in time needed. Like, they were ready to go right out the box. So with all of that, I suppose that's a win. But again, it's just definitely where you can tell the cost cutting is located, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the R&D went into the tooling and the support features, as well as the supercritical foam. And then the upper is just like, hey, let's just slap on something that works. And so that's what this is. The support is also fantastic, despite how they might look, especially with this kind of like runner-esque vibe. Like I was saying earlier, the shank plate is substantial. Like, not only does it connect this like bridge between the gap, you know what I mean, but it makes it so that you can't over twist. It does go into the forefoot, at least it feels like it does, just a little bit, maybe to like right about here. So it feels like in hand that it's gonna lack flexibility, but while it's on foot, like I said, you just kind of feel fluid. Like, it feels like you're just, you know, moving in a linear fashion with the utmost of ease. And then much like the Curry 11 as well as the Curry 12, they added the stability bars that you can see right here through the flow. And I love that they actually showed them to you this time, because before they're just kind of like housed within the shoe. You would never know that they were there unless you saw a full-on breakdown or you like watched our podcast with the designers and everything, because they were the ones that showed me that. But either way, that's what these 4 yellow bars are. They're just linear bars that go across, and they're for lateral stability. So So again, if you're moving, if you're shifty, if you're running around screens or just, you know, running up and down the court trying to get open on or off the ball, this right here is going to make sure that your forefoot is always stable, that it's always planted, that it's always flat. That way you can get your shot off with ease. And so if you are a volume shooter or just an average shooter, but like as long as your feet are set properly, you're going to knock that thing down. This is going to be one of those shoes that just kind of like helps you do that without any like weird wiggle room. Now in terms of fit, I would say that they fit true to size. Whatever you typically wear, that's exactly what I would order. If you happen to wear a brace or an orthotic, bring those in store once they're available and just kind of like swap them out. The insole is a piece of shit, so you could definitely take that out and put in anything else. I wouldn't put in something that's super substantial unless you needed arch support, only because the support system is beefy right here. So if you used a basic insole, like something like the baseline insole from Move, that would be solid. It will give you just enough step and comfort in there to like, you know, really like elevate what's already there. But do you need like torsion support and extra like that? I would say no. But either way, going true to size is probably your safest bet. And with all of that being said, do we have time for a viewer submitted question of the day?
Sure do. So a lot of the B-roll that is featured in this video, along with other videos that we've done, has been at our local gym, Core.
Yes.
This viewer would like to know, they're thinking of joining Core Gym, worth it as far as the equipment they have?
I don't use a lot of the equipment, I'll be honest with that. First off, Core is kind of like our new, in this like Sacramento Elk Grove area, the newest like gym slash training facility. It's awesome. Not just because it's new, but just because, well, maybe it is because it's new, but like, you know what I mean? There's 2 courts for me. So that's what's awesome for me, is that it's not like you're like waiting like over at 24 like for ever, you know what I mean? Or there's fights or whatever, because it's a community-based gym, even though they run it like a gym. And so I really like that aspect of it. There's stuff to do for everybody, whether it's your kids or your significant other, you know, whatever it might be, like your whole family could go, and it's really cool. So I really dig it. But as far as their equipment, like everything's upstairs, like their training stuff, so like weights and everything like that. Downstairs, I can't remember what it, like, is it just the CrossFit?
Well, they do have 2 studios for different classes, and then they have an outdoor area for the people who want to throw their weights around a little bit more. Like,
which is like CrossFit, like you push the sled and...
I think they do have, I don't go down there because I'm not in that area. I use the upstairs area, but
Right.
There's definitely stuff there for everybody.
Yeah, they got plenty of treadmills. They got plenty of like workout machines. There's an indoor upstairs track, which I think is really cool because you could walk around and watch people play pickleball, basketball. You watch the kids do whatever they do over at their courts and stuff like that. So it's really dope. They have a Dr. Dish like shooting machine that you could rent. I haven't rented it yet, but it's really dope. And yeah, and I just go there mostly to play basketball. So that's my main goal when I do my workouts, is at home and stuff. So like I'm not trying to do that stuff in public, which sounds weird, but like that's, I don't know.
I do.
I know you do your stuff in public and that's cool, but I'm not one of those guys. I just like to do, plus my stuff is mostly like based off of body weight. I'm not using like actual weights. Either way, I would say that it's worth it. It's really reasonably priced. It's a month-to-month membership, so you can cancel at any time and stuff like that. Or if you don't want to do a membership and you just want to drop in, there's drop-in fees. So like there's not really like I think it's like a win-win, you know what I mean?
You can definitely test it out before you buy or whatever.
Right, you don't have to just like sign up and then be like, and even if you did, you just cancel. So it's not a big deal, you know what I mean? But if you didn't want to spend the full month's fee, then just go drop in every couple days or once a week or whatever it might be, whatever your workout routine is. Just see if you like it. See if you like the people, see if you like the employees and the atmosphere, the vibe, the equipment, whatever it is that you're there for, try it out. But with all of that being said, I think that the Curry Series 7 is by far the best Curry model that they've put out so far, which is really interesting. Just in case you didn't know what Series 7 meant, it is for a 7-game series, hence him debuting them in the playoffs and things like that last season.
Light bulb.
So yeah, I dig it. Maybe you will too. If you were interested, sound off below and let me know. If you've already played in them, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, see how you feel about them, especially if you stack them up to Curry signature models. I played in every single pair and I was blown away by these, to be perfectly blunt. I did not think that they were gonna feel like that. I was like, whoa, these are crazy. This is not like a regular Curry. This would have been cool as like a Fox shoe. Sorry, I don't mean to keep going. I'll stop now. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for being here and supporting. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you all then. So till next time, guys, you guys have a good one. I said guys like way too many times right there.
It's
like,
really cool.
No, we're not going there.
It's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. So neat. So neat.